everything you thought you knew about the nature of reality in Hawkins was, well, a total lie.
A complete lie.
We're not just dealing with a dark reflection anymore. It feels like we've zoomed out to this cosmic scale, and the source material for this deep dive, episodes 5 through 7, just pulled the rug out from under us.
Completely.
Sure.
The game has fundamentally changed. This isn't small town horror anymore. It's an interdimensional war.
Right.
And the depth of this new lore is just... It's astonishing.
Yeah.
It reframes every single heroic effort that came before this point.
Exactly. So our mission today is to process these tectonic shifts. We're diving into the staggering truth about the Upside Down's real purpose, Will Byers' newly defined identity as a sorcerer,
Which is huge.
the intense emotional warfare Vecna waged, and this terrifying, incredibly risky final plan they've cobbled together to stop the worlds from merging. You really need this knowledge if you want to understand the scale of what's coming in the finale.
These episodes aren't just plot points. They are, retcons of the highest order. They're forcing us and the characters to reevaluate the very physics of their universe. #tag the true nature of the dimensions.
Okay, let's start with the biggest conceptual overhaul of the whole series. For years, we all relied on Dustin's brilliant analogy, right? The Upside Down was the Death Star 2.
The dark, mirrored version of our world. We all bought it.
We all bought it. But the new information, straight from Dr. Brenner's old notes, just completely dismantles that. So what is the Upside Down, really?
It's a transition space. It's not a dimension unto itself, which is the key. The sources clarify that the Upside Down is purely a wormhole.
A wormhole.
They call it a suspended time phase, or, more simply, a bridge. And it connects our real world to a vast, horrifying location we now know as Dimension X.
Or the Abyss.
Or the Abyss, exactly.
Like, just radically shifts the focus. So the Upside Down is just the cosmic hallway between two houses, and it's frozen in time. That drastically changes Brenner's original sin, doesn't it? He didn't just open a door. He fundamentally destabilized the boundary wall, separating us from the true horror.
And that boundary wall is made of something they call exotic matter. The sources show Brenner's team actually engineered this stuff.
They created it.
They engineered it, and they controlled the boundary's integrity with an orb on the lab roof. But what's really crucial here is the implication. They didn't create the Upside Down. They created the boundary to try and contain something that was already there.
That makes the stakes so much higher. And we know when Nancy shot that orb, which, we're all hoping might just destroy the Upside Down.
You were!
It just caused this massive blast that pulled things toward it. It proved destroying that exotic matter wall is absolutely not the solution.
Not at all. If that wall collapses entirely, Dimension X just floods our reality. Instantly. Game over.
So the whole strategy has to shift from closing a gate to, containing a massive cosmic containment failure.
And that instability, that brings us to the ultimate power dynamic.
Which means we need to talk about the real boss.
Yeah.
Because Vecna is not the final boss we thought he was.
No. This is where the Lovecraftian themes just explode. The hierarchy is terrifying.
Oh.
The Mind Flayer is explicitly the true embodiment of cosmic evil. It's a literal entity from the deepest part of Dimension X.
So Vecna, Henry Creel, he's just its corrupted puppet.
That's it. The Mind Flayer found Henry, it molded him, and now it uses him as an avatar.
He's the executive, not the CEO.
Perfect analogy.
So Vecna's grand plan is just executing the Mind Flayer's agenda, using that unstable bridge to merge Dimension X with the real world. That's a universe-level threat.
Vecna is the channel for the power, but the Mind Flayer is the force being channeled.
Okay, so if the cosmic landscape is being redefined, the sources are also making some huge changes to our main players. Let's look at Will. He's been upgraded from the sensitive kid to something way more powerful, a sorcerer.
And the sources, especially through Mike's constant insistence, draw a really specific line here that matters for the lore. A wizard has to study magic, learn it. A sorcerer is born with it. They have this innate, powerful connection to that energy, that space, and that's Will.
This inherent power is why that shock jock plan, which Lucas came up with, by the way, was so incredibly desperate.
Oh, unbelievably so.
They had to use heat to revive a dead Demogorgon. Just for a moment, just long enough for Will to link to the hive mind.
And that link was, talk about high risk, high reward. Will succeeded. He saw Vecna's plans. He got a glimpse of Max's fate. But Vecna, who is the hive mind, immediately counterattacked through that same connection.
And here's where the analysis gets really dark. Vecna captures Will in the hive mind and launches this deep psychological attack. He tells Will that he was Vecna's builder.
Yeah, that he unconsciously created the physical tunnels like years ago in his sleep as a kid.
Wait, but if Vecna used Will unknowingly, doesn't that make the attack less effective? I mean, he's blaming Will for something he had no idea he was doing.
It's effective because it taps into guilt, even if the action was unintentional. Vecna is a master manipulator. He's saying, you are responsible for all this destruction.
Okay.
But the real core of the assault, the real weapon, was leveraging Will's deepest, most hidden secret, his identity, his sexuality, as a source of fear and regret.
And that moment just resonated so powerfully, because instead of letting that fear win, Will chooses to reveal his truth right then to his friends and family who all accept him. He turns that vulnerability into pure strength.
And that emotional acceptance is what empowers him, makes him whole.
And that energy translates immediately into physical action. He uses that newfound sorcerer ability to attack Vecna, and he breaks Vecna's leg.
Which is the first time a non-11 character has fundamentally injured Vecna like that. It's a huge shift in the power dynamic. It buys Max and Holly the crucial time they need to get away. Will is now a tangible weapon in this fight. Hashtag tagged Heffy3, the emotional gauntlet, escape and origin.
So Will buys them time for the kids trapped in Camazotz, a location Vecna actually mentions, referencing A Wrinkle in Time.
Right, which just highlights his control over this mental prison.
So let's look at Max's awakening. We all love Kate Bush, but the sources are really clear. The song was just the setting for the breakthrough.
It wasn't the key. The real mechanism for her escape was the raw, just unadulterated connection and love she had for Lucas.
Wow.
That powerful, authentic tie was the only force strong enough to rupture Henry's mental construct and pull her back to the real world. It proves that emotional connection is a literal weapon against Vecna's psychic manipulation.
And at the same time, you have Holly finding the cave entrance. She's guided by Mike's Mind Flayer doll and a telescope, which is a great little detail showing how the whole friend group is guiding her even when Elle is far away.
It is. But we have to step back to the true genesis of this whole threat. Henry's actual origin story inside that cave.
The full, horrifying flashback.
Right. Henry interacts with some piece of experimental government tech, some discarded remnant from Brenner's project, and is accidentally thrown into Dimension X for about 12 hours.
And he comes back. Changed. Still human, but with this terrifying connection to that place.
And he's immediately confronted by a scientist who had fled Brenner's lab. Henry gets shot, he loses control, kills the guy with a rock, and then he opens the man's briefcase.
Which contained the dark Mind Flayer particles. That briefcase was the delivery mechanism for the ultimate evil.
This is a huge realization. Henry didn't create the Mind Flayer. He was infected by it.
He was a host.
He was the first host. The particles were just sitting there waiting for a psychic. The dark energy was implanted. Henry's corruption is a mix of his own darkness and this cosmic pathogen, which explains why he fears that cave entrance in his own mind. It's where he got infected.
Okay, now let's talk about the threats back in the real world. Dr. K and Kali number 8. Dr. K is clearly militarizing this whole operation.
Absolutely. He's not just hunting Elle anymore. He's extracting Kali's blood, trying to synthesize more numbered prototypes using pregnant women. He's taking Brenner's worst actions and industrializing them.
And Kali's response to this is terrifying.
Right.
She proposes a mutual suicide pact with 11.
Yeah.
They kill Vecna, and then they both stay in the Upside Down permanently to make sure Dr. K can never get his hands on their power again.
And Hopper sees the danger in that immediately. Kali's thinking tactically, trying to prevent future harm, but it means sacrificing their lives to keep that power out of human hands. She shows how desperate they are.
And before they can even deal with that moral nightmare, we have to give a shout out to the absolute heroism of Mrs. Wheeler.
Always.
She saves Lucas, Max, Robin, everyone from demo dogs at the hospital by igniting an oxygen tank. It's such a crucial reminder that every single character, no matter how peripheral they seem, is vital to this fight. Hashtag Terry Stace, setting the stage for the finale.
So before we get to the final plan, the sources give us a necessary, if pretty painful relationship update. Nancy and Jonathan.
They're officially done.
It had to happen. It did. The sources confirm the breakup wasn't just stress. Their entire relationship was built on shared trauma and lying about this secret world. It had to fracture eventually.
You can't build a healthy life on a foundation of exotic matter walls and interdimensional lies. It's just not going to work.
Not going to work.
But now all the pieces are finally in place for Steve's final, incredibly dangerous strategy, the final crawl.
And the whole group adopts this plan, which is terrifyingly simple. They have to let Vecna draw the two dimensions closer together.
Using the enemy's strength against him.
Exactly. They plan to enter Dimension X the Abyss directly using the radio tower, which they're now calling the Beanstalk Access Point.
The task division seems clear. El and Kali go in to destroy Vecna in his own domain.
While the others rescue the possessed kids and get out, shutting the bridge behind them. And if they fail to shut that bridge, and anyone is left in Dimension X, well, the Mind Flayer will torment them, just like it did to Vecna.
And the final image we get, closing out this volume, is just horrifying. It completely seals the stakes. Vecna preparing his dark version of a ceremonial meal.
The Unholy Supper.
With the possessed children, including Holly, gathered around a table as his 12 disciples. This image, it's not just a monster anymore, it's a cosmic cult leader initiating the final merger of worlds.
It is.
So we have the ultimate fight set up. They have to destroy the Dimension X bridge, survive this cosmic cult leader, Vecna, and potentially deal with Kali's dark sacrifice pact 411.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the sources confirm the Mind Flayer is the true cosmic evil, and Vecna is just its puppet, a corrupted vessel. So the central conflict, really, it relies on defeating this powerful, mostly unseen cosmic horror. We've spent so much time dissecting the puppet.
But the puppet master's still waiting.
Still waiting.
So what kind of devastating primal power will truly emerge when the group follows Steve's plan and enters Dimension X, the Abyss, a place only Henry has ever fully experienced? You have all the facts now, but the true horror remains in the unknown depths of the Abyss. And that deep dive into the true unknown is the only thing left for us to worry about. You're going to need to hold on to that thought until the final credits roll.
If you enjoy this video, please like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell to the later update from my channel. Thank you for watching till the end, and see you in the next video.